So uncivilized.
Greetings and welcome to the 1/6 Scale Man proudly presents another episode of You Know What It Is, Uncivilized Scoundrels. I'm your host, the 1/6 Scale Man for the 1/6 Scale Man YouTube channel. Please do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel like this actually tells you to do, hit that bell notification so you are always up to date with what we got going on over here on the channel. So glad to have you guys. I'm not alone. I am here with a couple of Jedi Knights in their own right. We got CC3PO. Vinny is in the building. What is going on with you guys, man?
Not much, man. Happy to be here. What's going on with you?
Oh, man, it's been a tough week. Tomorrow's Friday. Saturday, I'm sitting on my ass and I ain't doing nothing. That's just my plan. That's just how I got to be because it's been a tough week. So I'm going to sit down and relax and just keep it moving, man. You already know how that's going to be, but definitely thanks for being here. CC, oh, what's going on?
Yeah, everyone missed, I guess, the comedy show. I was trying not to fall asleep because I'm tired, even though it's not even 10 o'clock my time. There's no excuse for it. I was just tired. And you know when it's almost like when you're trying to fall asleep, that thing happened. But instead of like, oh shit, where's my birth certificate? I was like, oh shit, where's that one Vader sketch I have? So Leal going like, son of a bitch, shit, where is it? I don't know where can I put it? And I'm just like under this desk, like trying to find shit. Yeah.
Yo, that shit is comedy. I literally wish. Just wish if we were live, I would intentionally go to Vinny so I could just hear you in the background and unmute you. You probably think you were. It's so funny. Oh, that was funny. Damn. And you know what, CC, you're gonna end up going to sleep and you're gonna wake up and be like, "Oh, it's right there."
Well, one of those things. I was like, I bet I put it somewhere. So like, oh, it'll be safe here, and then it's so fucking safe I can't find it.
Yeah, pretty much.
I just gotta get in the mindset of CC like 3 weeks ago and see if that helps. But
always happens. It always, you know what? It happens to me a lot with, honestly, especially on gym days. This shit right here, my earpods, my it's the Beats earpods. So in this case, always gets lost somewhere, and then I end up finding it, and I'm like, fuck, it was right there in front of my face. It's always something. So I feel your pain.
My favorite is when like I find something and I'm like, what dumb bitch did this? And then I'm like, oh, that was me. That was me.
That's me. That was just me.
It was me a few weeks ago. Oh shit.
Hey,
okay.
You go in Vinny's crib, he loses something. You like, man, I can't. Oh.
It's some people got low jack, I got ho jack.
Bro, you said anyway, thank you all for being here. Thank you guys out there. Definitely let me see who we got in the chat with us. We got Pedro Lopez stopping through, but thank you for being here as always. We got Amber May, the Den Mothers in the building. Thank you for being here. We got WRNR, Real Negro Radio. Thank you for being here, bro. As always, we got Evangelium in the building. Who else we got? Charlie the Unicorn is in the building. Thank you for being here, brother. Renz Talentino is always in the building. We got Zen San in the building. Thank you for being here. Mary Sullivan is in the building. Thank you for being here. Who else? So we got We got Benjamin E. Green is in the building. Thank you for being here as always, brother. It's always a pleasure to see you in here. So definitely we got a couple of people that are actually coming in. Now, before we actually get to the business, I always got to actually do this every time we do a show, is to make sure I pay homage to where we get the figures in our collectibles and as well as our comics from. Want to give a shout out to my man Ray over there at Underground Figures. Definitely, if you ain't got it, he'll get it for you. No NRD. Make sure that you actually subscribe to the newsletter so you are always up to date to when your figure will be coming or when a new figure is getting released. On top of that, full transparency, you will get your figure in 2 to 3 business days. I'm telling you, he is like that. Always on point. You just hit him up, tell him I sent you over there. He'll definitely take care of you. That newsletter definitely works. He got pieces over there that people have been looking for, but they don't just look in the right places. You can find it over here with my guy Ray. So definitely want to give him a shout out. Also, I give a shout out to my man Ray over there at Hawk Wars Toys. Again, not only are you getting the figure that you need, you get a comic book, sticker to boot, as well as those Grail pieces. Reasonably priced when it comes to shipping and handling. He is currently a proud sponsor of the Summer Madness that's going on over there at the Figure Flex Friday Facebook group. So make sure you subscribe. All right, make sure you actually are over there joining the actual group, and you get a chance to win one of 4 figures that he's going to be introducing. So thank you very much for that, Ray. As always, I got to give also a shout out to my man Jay over there, Watcher 6. At Comic Relief, Comic Collectibles as well. Again, you get your comics as well as your 1/10 scale, 1/6 scale, 12 scale, anything you're looking for, you can actually get it through my man. But mainly your comic books. I'm telling you, he's a great dude. Cannot wait to have him on again. He's going to be on, I think he's going to be on Collectors Lounge as well as Marvel Comic Book Talk with Friends with us, Vinny, on Monday. So
okay,
can't wait to have him there. We're going to have a blast. We're going to have some fun. And last but not least, got to give a shout out to my man Brian Wong over there at Maji Case, Maji Space. If you're looking for an incredible display, he will definitely take care of you. He'll find what you need. I can't wait to get that mono right here so I can actually do my own personal review on it. It's going to be incredible. I cannot wait to do so. So definitely wanted to give them a special shout out as well. And everybody else who is actually coming in here. We got 22 people and we got more coming through. Doguito's in here. Thank you for being here. Iron Star Killers in the building. Thank you for being here as well. So we definitely got some things we need to cover, man. We're going to cover episode 7 of, the Acolyte in just a few moments. Very, 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 very divisive. But we're going to talk about it. I mean, I have my feelings on it, Vinny. I know you said you have your feelings on it. So it's definitely going to be something that we're going to talk about. But before we do that, I want to kind of jump into this real quick. Director Shawn Levy has now actually found his director for his Star Wars film. Okay, if you don't know this, this screenwriter is Jonathan Tropper, who again, if you aren't familiar with his work, he actually is the writer of. Do you ever see Warriors, Vinny?
Warriors come out and play Warriors.
Nah. Warriors. It's an actual show, I believe, on Showtime. So it's like a samurai. It's like a ninja.
Warrior.
Yeah, Warrior.
Oh, okay. Yes,
yeah.
Warrior.
So
I've been singing Warriors praises for a couple years now. That's
yeah.
Good.
So he's going to be the writer that's going to be on board with Levy for his Star Wars film. Yeah,
that's very interesting.
Yeah, because he's worked with Levy before on a few. He actually worked with Levy on that Netflix show with what was it? It was that Netflix show with Ryan Reynolds. What was it called? It was a movie. Damn.
Free guy or free play
not. I don't know. No, it was
the Adam Project.
Yeah, the Adam Project. Yeah.
Okay.
So he was a writer for the Adam Project. I never seen it, but everybody was talking about that shit was incredible. So
it was good. It was good for a Ryan Reynolds film for sure.
Got you. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but I definitely want to take a look at it. But yeah, so Levy has basically found his writer. Now here's the thing, bro. And CC, I want to ask you this first, and then I'm gonna go to you, Vinny. This all sounds good on paper, right? Sounds good. I mean, Levy is going to do a Star Wars film. He's hot off of Deadpool, and everybody's singing the praises of this film. Critics are singing the praises. People who have actually seen it are saying that this is going to be the film that's going to unite or reunite the MCU, once again. So that's, yet to be seen, but Levy has been getting the praises for a lot of stuff that he's done. Found this writer that's pretty good. That's dope. problem is we're talking about Disney Star Wars films and their track record of films that they always announce, but don't seem to see the light of day. Cece, do you think that this is going to happen? First off, do you think this is going to be something that is going to happen, or are you skeptical about it?
I wouldn't, yeah, like I would just from track record, I wouldn't bet money it's gonna happen, but I hope it does. Just like everything else. Like I also do question if it's not always he's like a fault of one person in that situation. Like I don't think when those projects fall apart, it's Disney being like, just kidding.
Mm-hmm.
I do question if it's the directors, the writers, like they look for, because I wonder if the length of these projects, how long it takes for them to actually start filming, that people just drop off, they get busy. Because I do think that I always forget their freaking name, but the guys who did Game of Thrones, I think that was like a mutual decision because of like the last season of Game of Thrones, but also Disney being like, well, we don't know if there's much interest now in Star Wars films with the reception of like Last Jedi and Solo and Rise of Skywalker. So I mean, it's great. I think I have promised like faith that they might, because I think that the screenings that they've done in theaters for like Acolyte, I think they did one other one. And of course, bringing Phantom Menace and stuff back in theaters for the anniversary, Return of the Jedi. Like, I think enough evidence to suggest that fans really want to see Star Wars in theaters.
Yeah, they do. They do, because they packed it out for when we went to see Ahsoka Episode 5. That theater was packed. It was packed, and the energy in there was incredible. When I went to go see Acolyte, the first 2 episodes, it was packed. Yeah, I mean, so we know that in Phantom Menace, same thing. People were there; they wanted to see it. So we know that, again, it is one of those situations where people will watch the films. They want to see the films on they want to see the films in the theaters. People want to get back in the theaters for these films. But I think it's like now we need, just Lucasfilms, and I'm not going to say Kathleen Kennedy's, but we need to basically see the execs and everybody who's basically involved to really trust the process, trust the artists, trust the direction, trust the writers, that they can pull something completely off. Now, apparently, the crazy part about this is apparently what Levy has said is that Kathleen Kennedy told him, you have free reign to do whatever you want to do within the Star Wars universe. Like, however you want it, whatever your depiction is, whatever your ideas are, you can do it. We want you to do it. As long as it's centered around this galaxy and what's been created, do what you want, whatever. So that's going to be interesting to see if something like that is really going to happen and transpire. You know what I mean? Like if they're going to allow something like that to happen, because again, they say that, but then when a director actually, presents their ideas, their treatment for it, then it's all of a sudden creative differences. We hear stuff like that. So I'm hoping that this does see the light of day. I really, really do. Vinny, what are your thoughts about it?
I wasn't familiar with his name. When you mentioned it, I thought he was just a writer for those shows, but apparently Jonathan Trooper, like, he co-created Banshee and he created Warrior.
Yeah.
When Boys came out, I was telling everybody, like, if you were enjoying the insanely gifted portrayal of Homelander, you have to see Anthony Starr's work in Banshee as well. Banshee, like Warrior, is just one of the greatest, craziest action shows of all time. Banshee is just nonstop, like fights, violence, sex. Like it's like man porn for Cinemax. It's like everything that you could want if you loved action and crazy violence and everything like that. It's set here, right outside of Harrisburg in Lancaster. It's like so off the wall, crazy, and it's so ridiculously good, and the action is incredible. And then I knew that some of the people involved with that show also did Warrior, but I didn't realize that it was the same showrunner creator. So having him involved in this, hopefully that means that this is going to be a very action-driven film because that's his MO. Like Warrior has some great characters, some great stories, great socio commentary, but its drawing point is martial arts and action choreography. So if the dude responsible for the fights in Warrior is on a Star Wars film, say less.
Yeah.
Like I have my reservations about the comedy genre with action movies with Deadpool and all that. So like that's whatever. But if a man behind Banshee and Warrior is involved in this, then hopefully that action offsets whatever comedy Shawn Levy's bringing to the table, and we get some great martial arts lightsaber shit. So give me. I'll take it. So hopefully this actually happens because you know how that goes.
Definitely, bro. Like
what up, Mario?
I wish we got Darth Trophy in the building. What's going on with you?
And I came in here, I heard Vinny talking about man porn. I said, what? I was like, okay, I'm glad you elaborated, clear my head. Thank you very much for clearing that up.
Try to skim over that real quick and get to my explanation of that.
Yeah, man.
Everything that guys like isn't everything that guys like and they complain that isn't on TV anymore. Like, oh, they don't do shows like they used to do back in the day. Like that was what Banshee was. Banshee was just like 80s type of action where you got violence and sex and
incredible
language and the stuff that they kind of watered down a lot of all those different things in shows nowadays.
You don't have to be polite, Vinny. You're mentioning it because of me.
No.
Aspect because you didn't think I had seen Banshee, but I had.
Have you seen Banshee?
Because I wanted to see Anthony Starr. So he's definitely the star,
right?
Yes. Yeah.
He's the best part is if Anthony Starr is proof that Clark and Superman could work, because if you see Anthony Starr and Banshee, you're like, wait, I thought the guy from Homelander was, who played Homelander was in this. Who is he? Because when I started watching The Boys, it took me to like the second episode before I realized, hold up, I knew him from somewhere.
He looked real.
When you see him like in interviews on TV, he don't even look like either of them.
None of them. That's how much he can train. He got so much range.
Like that motherfucker, he's like Gary Oldman. Every time you see him, it's like, wait a second.
He got so much range, bro. He's definitely an incredible actor, bro. He definitely is.
I also love that he gives Carl Urban a bunch of shit because they live in like the same neighborhood in New Zealand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it. Did you see? I was watching the other day. I was watching him talk about his food prep and how he basically gets prepped. Each of them get prepped for their roles. And he was talking about between him and Carl Urban, and it was funny. It was funny as shit. It was definitely funny. Mario. So just in case you come, there's a couple of things you missed. Number one, you missed the simple fact that Cece, bro, she was like, fucking shit, where's my Vader? Fuck this shit. Where's my fucking... She couldn't find a Vader print, bro. She was going off. It was funny as shit behind the scenes. I wanted to go live.
I heard a cat scream, and there's not even a cat there?
Yeah, bro. Bro, if you would have heard it, I should have just, like, while she was doing it, just went live silently. Just so everybody, because that shit was funny.
Well, I believe it, man.
He let me into like the backstage or whatever, and my head was under the table, and I was like, the motherfucker, god damn it.
Yes, he was.
What the fuck? Bro, she's giving everyone all kinds of wrong ideas.
Bro, it was funny as shit. I was like, yo, I should have just went live and just let everybody hear it. Because this shit was hilarious. It would have been like one of the funniest outtakes ever, bro. Like straight up.
Nice.
But what we're talking about right now is Shawn Levy, who is definitely the director of Daredevil, is doing a Star Wars film. We knew this a while ago, right? So, but he has now found his writer, right?
We don't know what though, right?
No, we don't. We don't know that. So basically, we don't know the premise of what it's going to be about. But all we know right now is that Levy has basically found his writer in Jonathan Trop. Now, here's the one up on that though, because I do want to say this. At least, right? he has a writer. He has a very credible writer as well. You know, he's credited for a lot of really, really good stuff.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And at least we know that Levy is really serious about a lot of shit that he does. And on top of that, we know that, you know, Jonathan Tropper, you know, again, they've worked together before, so they have great chemistry. We know that right off the bat.
Yeah.
So that's not something that we have to question. Them we don't have to question. What I was saying is we have to question Lucasfilm and Disney. And
thank you for saying that. Yes. Bro, come on here thinking, you know what? That's great that we got these kind of directors, these kinds of writers. But then what happens a few months later sometimes? Oh, so-and-so had to step away because of creative differences.
Creative differences. That's the point. All the fucking time. It's always creative differences. Like, what did Patty Jenkins just like a while ago just said that she's still on. Like, she's still on to do, like, silently, she's still on to do the Rogue Squadron or something like that.
Rogue Squadron, yeah.
But I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, it's just like always this seesaw of, are you going to do it or are you not going to do it?
And that's something I wanted to see so bad, man. I mean,
I still want to see that shit,
games,
bro.
Rogue Squadron games, when that shit dropped on N64,
it's fun as shit.
Back in the day, I love those damn games.
Yeah.
And I've always loved. I mean, there's so many different avenues in Star Wars, man. I mean, just from lightsabers to ships, the dogfights in space. I love that. That's like my jam. I love the ships and the designs, man. And for them to pull out, on a Rogue Squadron, man, it's just such a missed opportunity, man. You know what I mean? So I'm like, they gotta tease me like that and then just pull out like that, man. That's just not a fan, bro.
Do you think, like, you know, with this again, because we're talking about, and here, I'll say this much. This is what I think would be a positive, and it is a positive step forward, possibly, to make this happen. If Deadpool is successful and breaks $1 billion, you damn well know they're going to push for Levy to get this fucking film done. Because we already know that Taika Waititi was set to do a Star Wars film before Thor Love and Thunder released. The response that people got from Thor Love and Thunder, then what happened? His shit got damn near shelved, bro.
You know who else was also supposed to do a Star Wars series too? Game of Thrones writers.
Benny off Weiss, right?
Game of Thrones. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And what happened after season 8? Oh yeah. We're going to Netflix, guys. We don't have time for Star Wars anymore. Yeah.
Don't call us. We'll call you.
Like that's what it is, bro. Like, it always happens that way. Like, it's like you can't. Same thing that happened with what is his name? Was it the dude that was supposed to actually do his own? Was it Josh Trank? Was it?
Yeah. It was supposed to do the Rise of Skywalker or the third.
He was supposed to do the third film, but because he did the book of, I think it was a movie called The Book of Something, and that movie failed horribly. All of a sudden, creative differences. It's
just reactionary, man. With everything.
And that script was dope as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they never did it. So that's my point, bro. Like, again, they don't get out of their own fucking way.
Nope.
Yep, you're right. Ghetto Yoda, you were exactly right. After Wonder Woman, same thing. Patty Jenkins. You can't.
Dope ass avatar, by the way. I love
bro,
it. Yoda with the top
it is dope, right? Ghetto Yoda. That, like, literally, bro, like, you can't. It was Colin. Yes, that's who it was. Colin Trevorrow. Thank you very much for that, Lilas Gray. Yeah, Colin Trevorrow.
Patty's pull was warranted, but the rest of them, they should have went forward.
Like, that's what I'm saying.
Game of Thrones dudes, how y'all do 7 seasons of the biggest show on the whole fucking planet ever? And then you have one season which has a lot of reasons for it not doing well. And they're like, come on, man. That's so fucking fickle.
Reactionary, man. It's Lucasfilm, dude. That's all it is.
Yeah, and that's
what I'm saying. Reactionary.
Like, they have to stop being I don't, you know what? And that's the thing.
Or stop telling us what you're going to do before you are ready to do it. Don't tell us that you're going to do some shit until you actually want to do it.
Yeah. And I don't think they're in any position right now, especially right now, to be reactionary about anything at all.
Yeah.
I don't think they're in a position to be that way. I think that right now they have to get their heads out of their asses, bro, and literally conform and literally basically say, look, we need to put some shit out. We need to make sure that this happens. You know what I mean? And we're on point about it, bro.
Say that again, just in case I didn't hear you. Say that again in case I didn't hear you. Say that again in case I didn't hear you.
Bro, they need to. They need to get that shit, pull your head out of your ass, bro, and just get on point. Like, we need to do something. Like, literally, this the bullshit that's happening right now, bro. It's putting a bad taste and a stain on the franchise. Now, I say that reasonably. I'm saying that within reason, bro. And we're going to get with the next topic we're going to get to. You know, we're going to talk about that in more in detail, but I say that because you have to position yourself based off of the responses. Look, I always give, you know, I'm giving Star Wars definitely a solid go with a lot of shit, you know, especially Disney Star Wars, with a lot of shit that they put out, because again, I do want to see different. And I love the simple fact that they are making the attempts to give us something a tad bit different. The problem is, like Vinny, we say this all the time, you can't, and they have to stop literally alienating people and fans for a reason. And when I'm talking about, I'm not talking about these bigoted individuals out there, but I'm talking about true fans. Because
too. Because guess what? As much as it sucks to go out there, do something that you know is going to be that you know is going to get hate from certain types of people, to try to get ahead of it by calling out your own fans before it releases is bad business. It just is. Like you don't see Starbucks saying like, no racists allowed, we hire black people on there, and putting it on the door, because it should go without saying. You don't want to piss off racists because you want them to go buy coffee too. It's bad business, because people who didn't even think that way about what was coming now is like, okay, well, that just shows that's what you were thinking when you were making this. That's what you're worried about. And so many of these decisions, from being fickle about whether they go forward with projects from directors who have failed at other things, and all these are all lumped into with creativity. And what they're doing so often is putting business first, creativity somewhere way down the list. And creativity often, you know, rises to the top, and we get stuff that they went with a business decision, but yet it just still happened to be creative also, like a Mandalorian or Ahsoka. You know, they knew those shows would make money, but they just happen to be creative anyways. There's a lot of decisions here that are business motivated, and then they get surprised when there's all these other factors that they are fueling. You do not need to go out there and engage with fans who are toxic. That's bad business. Ignore them. It's like feeding the trolls. People on the internet know better than to do that because you can't win. Why does corporations and CEOs not know that?
Yeah, it's like best to kind of like just remain silent.
Yeah, you can't go out there.
And here's the thing: it's like don't poke the bear, because people like, look, not everybody is gonna like everything, and we know that. And you know, again, you want to get. Now, here's the thing: I say this subjectively because I have to also say the simple fact that the treatment of Amanda Steinberg before you even got a chance to see her on screen, the racist remark, the bigoted remarks, the remarks against, you know, people of, you know, different sexual preferences, you know, especially the LGBTQ, you know, community, that shit wasn't called for. Now, we know that shit definitely wasn't called for. We know that there are individuals out there who have agendas. We know that they're out there. And we know individuals who will also say that Star Wars. So it's the thing is they'll say that the execs, the Star Wars have agendas, even though they have agendas themselves when they say these things. And the word that gets always thrown around is woke. You can dislike the show just because you dislike it. You don't have to basically use this show as a vehicle to amplify your racist and bigoted tendencies. So I just want to say that. But
yes,
I also want to say that from a devil's advocate standpoint, Disney and Lucasfilm, literally, you have to know how to inject certain things without being deliberate, if that makes any sense. You have to know how to basically piece things together without being overly deliberate, because you've proven that you can do it. Case in point, dope ass episode that we got. One of the dopest episodes that we got of Mandalorian was in season 2. Very last episode, the rescue.
Yeah.
We got a chance to see some badass females get off, and they did their thing. And it wasn't forced. It was just the way it was. And everybody got a chance to shine. There was no type of, you know what I mean? Mando did his thing. You know, Bo-Katan and Casca Reeves did their thing. You know what I mean? You know, everybody.
Perfect example of how
it was a perfect example.
And eat it too.
And exactly how it's that, and it wasn't overly deliberate. You know what I mean? As much as people don't like the sequels, I don't think that that was deliberate either. Rey was just a character of their choosing. It was someone that was created, and they did whatever they needed to do. Now, until we got to the Rise of Skywalker, there was some deliberate things in there, and I can tell. But before that, it was a vision, and I knew they had it, and it is what it is. Even though I have my feelings about certain things, it was like, all right, cool, whatever. But you can see plainly that with certain things, there are some things that they have to kind of like, you have to know how to really, really execute. That's the biggest thing. Execution is one of the biggest places that you need to live in, where you're welcoming everybody and no one feels like they're alienated. That's just the way it has to be. No one deserves, and everybody deserves to have a space. But at the same time, these sensitive motherfuckers that don't want to see a woman with power, they need to stop that shit, bro. Because they're attacking every franchise or every single IP we see when something like that happens. I even seen somebody say that, oh, damn, episode 5 was dope. The men are back. I'm like, yo, that was the dumbest shit you can ever fucking say, bro. That was the dumbest
shit. Really?
Bro, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, the men are back. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with that?
Wow,
The dumbest
that's
shit that you
funny.
can ever fucking say. But I just think that if you're going to make a film or a show, it has to be even kill across the board. And again, I'm just saying that in my opinion. But you also have to give the creatives a chance to create the shows and the stuff that they want to create. You have to give them a chance without injecting these things, feeling as though your obligation is to show inclusion. Because the thing is, when you do that, and I say this very firmly, when you're doing that, like that's if basically, you know, say for instance, and I'm just saying this from my perspective, if Star Wars chose to basically have an all-black cast, right? An all-black cast, then to me, it looks like you're actually painting a target on my back, honestly, because you're doing it because you're trying to fulfill some type of quota. Black Panther, the way it was done there, you were supposed to do it that way. It made sense.
Where they were.
The way they did it was it's where they were. It was the environment. It made sense. I just think it needs to be an even kill, and then we don't have to worry about these fucked up discussions and I say that to tie this in with this. I'm hoping that they just let Levy do the movie that he wants to do. And I hope he's smart enough to know and see everything that's happening right now and just let it be. Somebody else brought, good example. X-Men 97 was a good example as well. It definitely was.
The thing is, I definitely think that they need to try to have more public relations courses and discuss with their CEOs and producers and directors the best ways to engage with reporters and audiences and social media. Because when you go out there and you criticize and you knock fans who aren't always the bad guys in every scenario, it just comes off as you don't like it. It can't be because it's not good. It must be because you're racist or sexist, even though there's times when they are. But you have to realize, like, this is an IP that was once upon a time at least stereotypically thought of as, you know, for guys, for boys. And it grew to something that was definitely much more broad appealing. Even though there was women leads like Leia and stuff like that. Look, there's a reason why Disney bought Star Wars to sell to the boys. Like they had the princesses and they had the girls locked down. They had all their Snow Whites and Cinderellas and Prince Charmings and Sleeping Beauties. They had all that stuff, and they didn't have the boy dollar. So they went and bought Marvel. Then they went and bought Star Wars so that they could have money coming in from boys and girls. So they were smart enough to realize if we want the money that comes with, making shows and movies and stuff like that for boys, let's go get these IPs. But then in some instances, they're making those IPs more accessible to different diversities and girls, and that's fine. But don't act like you don't know that is going to be something for people to adjust to.
Yeah.
Because if you wanted to get more money from boys, you wouldn't make a Prince Eric movie and then be mad at girls for not liking it as much as Ariel.
Mhm. Yeah.
Wouldn't you wouldn't try to like, oh, we got to appeal to boys more with our Ariel films, so let's make it Prince Eric the star of every one of them, and then be surprised when they don't do as well, because and then shit on the girls for not liking it. Like that's kind of like, all right, you're shooting yourself in the foot there a little bit.
Yeah.
Now you could say, all right, we're trying something different. We're trying to make this more, make it be more organic. And if the boys like it more, cool. If the girls like it less than they would have if it was what they were used to, cool.
Yeah.
But don't act surprised that how they are branching out and being more diverse, while it's a good thing, it's going to cause people to bitch. And the more you focus on the people who are bitching, the less you're serving the people you're trying to get anyways. And you can't be surprised that it's alienating some people when you have your directors and your producers go out there and like shit on the people who might not like it before it even comes out and try to villainize fans who might have anything negative to say about it, because that takes away any growth for you to put out a better product.
Yeah.
I mean, because when I bitch about the Vespa gang and Book of Boba Fett, hopefully the next season of Boba Fett is a little grittier, and because they listen. So that's constructive criticism. But like if somebody criticizes something in the Acolyte about the witches, they don't hear it. Oh, you must be sexist. So you take away any accountability if you say the only people who don't like this have to be racist, have to be sexist.
Yeah. And I think that's basically, like I said, where the disconnect comes into play. We just want you to be competent. Don't tell us, show us. That's it. Don't tell us, show us. You don't have to inject certain things because you're trying to appease. Because when you do that, you definitely target certain individuals, and I don't think it's fair. But at the same time, like I said, it's a double-edged sword type of situation. Hey, baby, we got my daughter in the building, Skylar. Thank you for being here, baby. Definitely, Cece. We were just talking about, and I want to kind of move this along as far as this right here, because I do want to get into the discussion of definitely episode 7 of the Acolyte, right? So we're going to kind of bleed this in, and Cece, you've probably been hearing the background of what we were talking about. It's like a lot of pushback that people have been giving this show. We know that there's two crowds. There's those who do have constructive criticism, and we know that there are individuals who are there for personal agendas against and attacking because they don't feel as though it's serving their particular purpose or even their demographic, So we know we have two different sides here. And like Whitney was saying, the side that are constructive about certain things that they don't like is being blended in with the other individuals. So they're calling the people who are constructive about the things that they dislike, oh, they're racist, they're bigoted. But no, this is the group that you need to be focused on, is these individuals. These motherfuckers are talking about, like, well, look, there's certain aspects of the show that just doesn't add up and you can't piece it together. It's just, certain things that might just be a little disparaging. I go into episode 7, and what we've seen. So episode 7 was basically supposed to be the episode that tied everything in from episode, 3, right? Was it episode 3?
Yeah.
So episode 3. So this was supposed to be the vantage point of that episode. We got a chance to see from, OSHA's perspective or what, was experienced that way. This episode was supposed to be pretty much, I guess, would have been from the perspective of the Jedi in May, right?
Yeah.
And we had waited for this, right? And there was so many things that I was hoping would get answered. There were so many questions that I had that I was hoping we would see like solid answers for. In my opinion, and again, like I said, I'm just saying this because I'm being critical about everything. Again, we're not just here to be shills about it. We're also here to give our opinions. In my opinion, episode 7 failed to deliver that. There were some good points about it. Don't get me wrong. There were certain scenes that I love the Wookiee scene. I love basically just the atmosphere. I love the simple fact that we got a chance to see Kilnaka wave a saber. I love just the witches, and just them revealing their powers, Mother Nasea, like, just her aura, her essence. But I think the motivation and of course, I mean, Carrie-Anne Moss owns everything that she's in. Like literally, she owns it. I loved her in this episode. There were 2 characters in this episode that annoyed the fuck out of me. Surprisingly enough, one was the obvious, was Torben, but the other person who annoyed the fuck out of me was Soul. Literally,
Creepy ass Soul.
it was creepy as fuck, bro. Because how can you establish? Okay, I get it, bro. With more time, we can actually see that. But, bro, he just met those fucking twins, bro. Like you met them, and all of a sudden you have this attachment to the point where it's become obsessive. And literally everybody was blaming Torben because of his actions and what he did. Okay, I get that. But you got to also put a lot of blame on Soul as well. Because and Dar was like, yo, stop. The Jedi Order said stop. Like, we have to stop. We have to let it go. Let the children stay. Let's get out of here. And the thing is, yo, Cece, I got to say this, right? She said, the Jedi Order said, let it go. It's too dangerous. Let them stay. It could be complicated. Now, in my mind, that would have been incentive enough to say, or even let Torben know, okay, what we're saying is we can now leave. We can go. But no, the motivation for him was to jump on a fucking speeder and say, no, we need to get proof. Motherfucker, you could have went home. You could have just went home. You might have had a chance to really go home.
My understanding of that was, for once I'm on Torben's side, like, I think had they just left it there, they would have moved on to the next planet looking for that vergence that their whole mission was set on. So I think he went looking for that vergence because the blood sample showed that there's a possibility that they were created using that. He was like, hell yeah, that's my ticket home. Like, if I prove that this is the planet that's got it, then we could take this information back to the council and leave. But with just this, they won't let us. Like, the mission will be over. Because that's why he was questioning Carrie-Anne Moss about the mission. And it's important. And her being like, well, he doesn't get it. Yeah. He wanted to go to Coruscant, but he wasn't going to risk they'd have to leave that planet and go to another bullshit planet looking for the same thing. So I think that's what
his motivation was to kind of go there and get the proof that was needed. And he felt that the proof was with the twins.
Yeah. But I agree with you that Saul's obsession with OSHA specifically was too fucking rushed.
Yeah.
Made no fucking sense. Like, he kind of hinted at it when he was talking about well, there's a reason you have Padawan and I don't. But I still don't think that means he locks eyes with OSHA. I think they probably would have been as creepy. Like, he belongs on some kind of list on Coruscant, and I'm not talking about Jedi Masters. And if he was like, I feel something in my gut, like she's gonna die, and technically he wouldn't have been wrong. Judging by the episode, the thing that kind of confused me, but I thought was interesting, is when I forget the character's name. The mom was like dematerializing, and so did Osha. So I wonder if I wonder if he kind of sensed that, like, you know, her demise was imminent. Like Osha's demise was imminent, and that's why he was like so connected to her. But it felt so fucking forced, so rushed. Like, if I wish from his, because this was from his perspective, they should have like made shit up like he was paranoid. Like that he saw something in the background of the ritual that looked like a vial of blood or something like that. Like just something to make him think that there was something else going on. Because trust me, like I like the actor. I think he probably has back problems from carrying the weight of this fucking show this long.
Yeah.
But I just felt like this was rushed, and that all of the like interesting plot twists that I had thought of in my head were so much better than what actually happened, which makes sense. Like they just fucked up and then they covered it up, which is kind of what we suspected, because that's such a Jedi thing to do. But so late in the series, like this, it means that the next episode's definitely going to feel like a series finale, which I'm not going to cry about it, but it's a shame because I feel like it could have been a lot better than it was.
Yeah, and I think here's the thing, in Torben's defense, he was plagued by a lot of fucking fear, but the seed was planted. And Asaya knew exactly what the fuck she was doing. She planted that seed in him. She knew what he wanted was to go home. So she planted that divisive seed in him, which was tailored around his motivation. So we know, and even then when he was meditating, we did see that those voices were still in his head. You know what I mean? Like even, you know, what we knew about Yord, when Yord said about, you know, Chimere, how he stays in your head. Like he knows those witches did the same thing with Torben. They were still in his head. So they planted that in his defense, they planted that seed, which was sort of where his motivation. I just felt as though, again, and it must be in his contract to be this like little whiny little motherfucker, bro. Like everything he plays so far, and I hated his hair. I just got to say that too. I couldn't stand his hair. It looked too much like a wig, but it's just everything happened in this, and this is where it always goes back to them damn 30 to 45 minute episodes are not enough. It wasn't enough to flesh out this story the way it should have actually been, because the motivation. Now, again, high points for me was Indara, Carrie-Anne Moss's character. She fucking killed it. Just her, and to me, she portrayed the perfect Jedi as far as the temperament. You know, I love that. You know, it's just that, again, and I understand that divergence, and they did explain that divergence itself wasn't the kids. It was divergence was the planet itself, which was a direct it was an effect of the hyperspace run that failed in High Republic, where it was a sabotaged event that caused like the hyperspace run, like the ship to, I guess it was an actual ship that exploded. The particles destroyed some certain planets. This planet was one of the ones that was deemed uninhabitable, but it just speared with life. So because of that, there was a divergence on this planet that spawned life. Now, the life wasn't the divergence, again, and they explained it, was not the kids. And even when they said, and when Torben said, it's a symbiote, like they're symbiotes, like they're definitely one and the same. They're twins, but one and the same, would lead to be, and which makes me think there was only one born, but another is a clone, and they split the essence between the two of them. So both of them carry the same personality. There's an essence in both. So that portion. But the thing is, we still don't know who the fuck created and how those kids were created. And I don't even know if we're going to fucking find out in episode 8. That's another thing I wanted to find out, because that's the part. And are we saying that, for instance, the battle between Kilnaka and then, you know, Sol and Torben, and when, you know, of course, Indara steps in and she forces that essence out of him, and how that particular scene caused the rest of the witches to pass out. She didn't kill them; they just passed out, but they died because of the, I guess it, the castle exploding and the fire and all that. So I a lot of shit just didn't. I'm trying to make sense of it, and it just didn't make sense to me. And I wanted to make sense because, again, I'm still on board, but I'm just being critical about this episode and how it was supposed to tie into episode 3. I don't think they did a good job with this. I really don't. In my opinion, just this episode, everything else, I loved episode 5. I loved episode 6, even though a lot of motherfuckers didn't. I loved it. But this episode kind of let me down because of what was set up. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
There were so
no,
many.
I don't think so. I don't think it was only you, bro. I think there's others out there
set up
that was
on
also.
What?
Yeah.
Well, we're. I'm my fault. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, like, I don't think you're the only one that's actually let down on this thing, man. I mean, for me personally, everything in this particular episode felt very familiar. Now, I understand the fact that it was from a different point of view, right? Mm-hmm. But even still, man, I think considering what happened on the very end of the last episode, where we see Osha put that mask on, right? They just left us on a cliffhanger, with that. Surely they could develop more out of that. I still want to see more of her own character development, and I just feel like the whole story was put on pause for an unnecessary flashback. I felt like we didn't get much out of this thing. Don't get me wrong, some of the stuff was cool to see. I mean, Wookiee with a Jedi with a lightsaber. It's dope.
Yeah, yeah, that was
amongst other things. I mean, you got to see, like you said earlier, with the witch's powers and all that. That was all right, but nothing was done to further the story. Nor these characters that are, as of right now, relevant. I think if anything, it made us question Saul a little bit more, because I do agree with you in the fact how he was creepily annoying. I think it was more of the delivery in the case of the actor, rather than, because I understand what the writers are trying to portray, right? He's got this instinct, right? He's I guess leaning towards what the Force is trying to tell him, that it, but the way his delivery though, but the way he delivered it, man, just kind of came across wrong a little bit, So
it's so she did kill the witches when she severed the thread, their connection to the thread.
Yes,
but
there were so many issues with this episode that bothered me. That was one of them. That fight, her breaking off their hold over Kanaka, killing a dozen plus witches who already were built up to be as powerful as they were, made absolute zero sense. Like why that would not have just just made them snap out of it. Why that would have killed them makes zero sense. And they also let that part of what happened that day was so traumatic and traumatizing that Torben went into this self-induced, forced coma, and nothing he did was really like worthy of that much grief. I mean, I get that he ran off, but it was Indara that killed those witches somehow, and it was Sol that killed Anissa. Like, Torben was fucked up in the head from their first encounter with them, where they attacked him first. I mean, yeah, they were trespassing, but she attacked them first, and then the narrative of the show is kind of, hey, the Jedi are bad, you should rethink how you look at the Jedi. But I'm sorry, if you walk up to a cop and pull out a bomb, you might get shot. Like, why? How was her reaction to Saul's interaction with her? Let me turn into a fucking vapor mist force demon and eradicate Osha or May, whoever it was. I mean, it didn't even matter to Saul. As she was disapparating, so was this child. So of course your reaction is going to be like, stop it. So they went out of the way to paint the Jedi as having this huge secret that they should all be ashamed of for 16 years. And it's kind of like, yeah, they fucked up by putting their nose where they didn't belong. Saul fucked up by being way too obsessed with this creepy ass obsession with having this little girl come home with him, and yeah, he was spying on them, but like, yeah, that was kind of the mission to find out where the Virgins was, and they found it. So I get that, but I don't think anything that they did warranted this like huge. They made it seem like they went in there and was like, all right, we taking them kids and just slaughtered all the witches like on purpose. Like that's not really what happened. Like the witches possessed their people twice. They fought back. People died. It sounds like just a day at the office. Like I'm not sure why that was such a thing where no one talked about it. It was such a shrouded in mystery thing. Also, I don't know how they didn't know where the witches were or where the Virgins was when you got a whole planet with nothing around except for the giant mountain that you should have seen when you landed with the big ass door, and you should have seen that they were there from like, as soon as you got to the planet. That was the only thing on the damn planet. And I don't even understand how that place was built within 100 years without any, with the, being cut off from the rest of the galaxy. How did you get the technology for electricity, for steel, for clothing, for all that shit within a matter of space of 100 years? There are so many plot holes in this episode that it made no sense that their whole narrative is like, this is a mystery. This doesn't make sense now, but you wait. When we reveal it, it's going to make so much sense. And all they did was spend half of the episode replaying scenes from episode 3. Half the thing felt like a fucking, like, wait, didn't we just see this? It wasn't even like it was from someone's perspective. It felt like that, it felt like a cheap comic or animation where they just replayed. It felt like an episode of a TV show where they show you like highlights or flashbacks from earlier shows in the finale or something. It was like, hold up, half of the shit was in an earlier episode. Where the fuck is this $200 million budget? It didn't make any sense. There's too many plot holes. The Jedi made mistakes, but they didn't do anything that was like some kind of a genocide, unforgivable sin. Adar's power killing those witches from breaking a connection made so much shit made zero sense. And then now you have episode 8 that probably won't even be about any of this shit. They'll be moving past it to get to the Khmer and Soul conversation and all that. So I don't understand how they thought that this episode would make everybody go like, okay, I get it now. This is great. All right, can't wait to see the finale. Nah, it just made everybody pissed off. I don't know anybody watched this and was like, aha, that makes sense. It didn't. Yeah. It's horrible writing for this episode.
I think, see, the thing is, it's like I'm trying, again, we're talking about Torben. I was trying to find, the motivation for him taking the barrage vow and then killing himself.
Bro,
I think his was definitely centered around guilt that he was part of a lie. And I think that's basically what it was for him. He was part of a lie. On top of that, he was partially responsible for a slew of witches dying because of his interference on a certain. So he might have basically felt that, just the anguish in that aspect of it, the guilt. He was there. He watched. He definitely did watch Soul murder Mother Naseya, right there in front of May. So he saw that. You know what I mean? So again, being part of a lie, guilt, being part of something that actually happened, that was part of his journey. No matter how we, I can see partially that aspect of it, but it's the motivation at getting there that might be a bit convoluted. You know what I mean? It's definitely convoluted because you don't understand that aspect of it. Soul, and again, I've been riding with Soul since this entire season, bro. But in this episode, he pissed me off, bro. Because I'm like, yo, your connection to Osha could not have happened this quickly, bro. You didn't have that much time around this girl to really know. And you can't say his connection was through the Force, because the only person who really showed that much of a power scale, or actually their connection to the Force, was May. Literally the whole time. Have you seen, like, okay, tell me, please. I think you've seen partially when she was at the tree, Ocean use a bit of the Force. That's when we saw it early in her younger years. May was the one that was showing more of a connection to the Force than Osha was. Literally.
Osha was like, stop.
It
makes no sense because it's not like he's seen that either of them were being mistreated and he had to save them from the witches. They weren't showing any signs of anything harmful happening to them. It almost seemed like racist, like, oh, I don't like witches. I don't want them to be with them. I want them to be with me. Like they have a better home here. But when you say like, all right, hey, y'all want to come? And they're like, yeah, I don't know. They made it seem like she was low key trying to leave, and they were kind of hurting her, holding her back. Even in the way that he presented it, which was like he had a strong attachment to her, was against the Jedi way.
Mm-hmm.
The Jedi aren't supposed to have attachments. So unless he was like, even when Qui-Gon found Anakin, he was like, all right, cool. This kid is powerful as shit. Yo, can we? Hey, Council, can I scoop and bring him home? They're like, all right, if they let you. And he was like, all right. If Watto would have lost that bet, I don't think he would have went in, killed Watto and took him. Like, I don't know. It just
felt, one of the things that felt insensitive to me, and again, like somebody even said it earlier, like, the entire time, Master Indara was by the book the entire time until after the scene in which she said, no, don't tell the council anything because we don't want to steal this girl's dream away from her. Well, you're saying that girl's dream is more important than the simple fact that she lost her family. Like, that aspect of it is like, come on. Not to mention
their mission wasn't even these damn kids.
No, it was
their mission isn't even like that. Had nothing to do with your mission. Their mission was now we're told their mission was to find the virgins, and the virgins is apparently something that is some new Star Wars thing that maybe has something to do with how the witches came to be or where their power derives from. They simply should have been like, all right, we found it. It's these bitches over here with these witch powers. I don't know what's going on, but here it is. What do y'all want to do about it? They should have reported. They should have all left. That should have been Torben's ticket home. They found the virgins. It was there. We got them. What do y'all want us to do? All right, come home. We'll talk about it. We'll send. We'll address it. But now, like, it made no sense.
Yeah, I was again like, I'm not trying to beat the fuck out of this show. I'm not trying to, beat it up like to the point where it's just insane. It's terrible because there were some I love Mother Coral. I do. And when this is a brag, I love Sabrags, bro. I'm sorry. That's just basically where I live. So I love Mother Coral, and she's still alive. She is basically alive. She ain't dead. I don't give a fuck what nobody says.
Like the fight with Saul where he didn't want to fight back.
And she was getting busy. But she was giving him like ruthless elbows, bro. She was giving him the people's elbow a couple times.
She wanted the saber. She just wanted to punch him in the face.
She rocked him a couple times, bro. She was rocking him. But I love that aspect. So there were, like I said, there were some good aspects. The lightsaber battle with Kilnaka and here the thing is, don't get it twisted. Even Torben was getting busy with them witches. He was doing his thing. You know what I mean?
He went to the Anakin school of spinning that
shit around. He was doing his thing, and then he held his own against Kilnaka. Like he did basically hold his own a little bit to kind of keep himself alive. You know what I mean? But it's just a simple fact that, again, like, I think that the execution of killing these witches, I don't know, man. It just, look, y'all know of all people, I want this show to be dope and dynamic, but I'm gonna call out bullshit when I see it. And this just didn't make any sense to me, bro. Like this episode just kind of threw me off. Like, it was crazy because me and Toya were watching it. And I can always tell when Toya is not there or when there's certain things that she questions, because she was like, the reaction was very minimal. She was like, oh, yeah. That was it. Same. See, I felt like my projects were better than what was revealed, which was pretty much what her projections it is, which, she said was pretty much expected. It's like, it was, that's what it is, Mario. It was predictable. It was predictable. It became predictable at some space. You know what I mean?
Because we already saw it, dude.
Yeah,
we already saw the damn episode. This was a rerun, man. Tell me, make that shit make sense.
Right? We saw it. Like we saw it.
It wasn't even, bro. It wasn't even from different angles. It was like, what did I? Am I watching the right one? Hold on, let me check. I'm on the right episode.
Yeah,
exactly.
So I mean, in this, okay. So, and here's my thing, right? Because up until this point, we've been questioning. You know, we knew about May, but now people have been questioning OSHA and what would be her motivation to turn, right? And we see this slow turn, you know, with her putting on a helmet, but yet, you know, Chimera hasn't told her the truth. And I'm wondering how he even knows. The only way I know how he knows is if May told him or if he was there on that planet somewhere. I don't know. But we're questioning now the motivation with OSHA and how are we going to show her change? Do you think, and I'm going to ask y'all, do you think that what we've seen thus far with these episodes up into episode 7 would be cause and a motivation for her to turn to the dark side? Aside from the simple fact that she might find out the truth that Soul lied to her about killing her mom. Do you think that everything happened up to this point in episode 8 would warrant her change to the dark side? Cece, I'm going to start with you first. Do you think when it comes to OSHA, everything that we've seen up until this point would warrant her complete switch to the dark side in episode 8?
I think so, just because, and I know people correct me in the comments, thank you so much, that it was May. It was May who witnessed this.
On that damn Darth Vader post. I know you was. Go ahead.
I know. It's still happening. So that May was the one who witnessed it. So if OSHA didn't know, then yeah, I think losing a parent alone is somewhat worthy of joining the dark side or you know, being a little darker in the Force. So knowing that Jedi did it because they literally couldn't keep their hands to themselves, like fucking weirdos, like I think that's even more reason.
I think, yeah, and we don't net, and the thing is, I'm just wondering why. I would have loved to even find out why, you know, Endara, her motivation for not wanting, you know, well, we know basically because they said that she was holding on to like hurt, anger, you know, and just her connection to her family was the reason why OSHA left the Jedi Order, because she was still connected that way. She couldn't let go of the past. So we know that they felt as though she might have been dangerous. But thus far, I haven't seen anything from her that would warrant any level of danger. Her connection to the Force has been completely cut off. Like literally. OSHA.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Her connection to the Force hasn't been there almost the entire. Damn, it hasn't been there the entire season, bro. Just at the tree, we got a hint of it. We haven't seen shit since.
Unless you want to count her picking up a lightsaber, you know, and that's
I wonder if it's that like connection, that balance thing, where if May is so powerful, if they're the same being, if May is the one
that's the
who
power.
has such a strong connection to the Force, then OSHA can't. Like it's like they can't both be powerful at the same time.
And the symbiote, like when they said basically they're one and the same.
Yeah,
kind of like those Netflix fucks when you try to watch Netflix or your TV at the same time your friend is. And you share an account, it's the same.
Wait,
you have to have different logins.
When Mom was turning into the symbiote, was it actually OSHA there or May?
When what?
It was May.
It was May.
It was May.
So was she trying to? Because here, first of all, here's a big problem with that. We're supposed to believe Saul is the bad guy there because Adenisa says she was going to let OSHA go. But that act seemed super aggressive to anybody who had no idea what she was doing, and the viewer didn't even know the ritual or what she was doing. So how could Soul, like, how could you feel like, oh, Soul did wrong? Usually that's something they show the viewer, and the viewer's like, wait, she's just... But even the viewer didn't know if that was an act of aggression or not. But I imagine what she was trying to do is maybe to separate May so that all the full power of the Force went into OSHA so that she could leave and go be. Because what the fuck was she doing there? Why was May disintegrating? What was happening? We still don't even know.
unless the only thing I can think of was maybe. So who was first? Was May? Did May make the transformation before Anastasia, or was Anastasia first?
May did and Osha didn't.
Yeah.
Right.
So exactly. So my point was, unless Anastasia felt as though May was on the attack and she was trying to stop her, and then Soul just mistook that as whatever, and then stabbed, because she said, I was going to let Osha go. I was going to let her go, so that it maybe Anastasia was trying to stop May from doing anything else that would hinder that progression. I don't know, man. It's
or if it'd be really weird. I don't think they'd do this because it would be like interesting and clever, and I don't think they would go that route. But what if like May doesn't actually exist? Like, what if her like dissipating, like getting Thanos, was the like her mother being like, okay, it's time for you to go now because Osha has to leave. Like, it was almost like she was to keep her soul daughter, who she had on a planet with a bunch of witches, like company.
Yeah.
So she was
so
like, all
maybe
right,
her existence, and she's keeping her, like, because she knows she knows how the twins were created, and maybe it was motivated through, like I said, that dark. Because you're right.
Because if they're split, that's what I thought. Maybe that's what was happening. Like, thinking about it more as we're talking here, because if they were one, that they were just branched into two, it might be that only one of them has power force at a time, and getting rid of May would have let Osha be full or whole or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's like so weird. But here's the thing: nobody talked to each other. Like, as soon as the Jedi showed up, they attacked Torben mentally, and then when they come back now, she like just turns into a smoke monster instead of saying, "All right, cool. I'm gonna let here's what I'm gonna do." Nobody had any dialogue. Nobody talked. It was just all like on site. It was just no talking. It doesn't make any sense.
There was no conversation, no de-escalating. There was no de-escalating. They didn't try to de-escalate at all.
And it's some of the most interesting aspects of the show, like, or you have to know other shit to find out. Like, I read today about whatchamacallit, the Kanaka going into hiding because of being a Mad Claw. Like, I heard about that there. You hear about that? Apparently, when like Wookiees attacking somebody with their
claws, that is forbidden. Like they're
like,
banned. It's forbidden to do that. Yeah,
forever shameful. That's like shameful act that is beneath them. So like him doing that, regardless of the fact that he was not under his own, right mind.
The Mad Claw, yeah, it's savagery.
He just went, made him a savage, and he went into exile because of it. That's interesting. Like, I wish they would have discuss that. Yeah. Here's what's fucked up. Look how many people have survived. I'm sure. Yo, Sabine is okay. But the smoke monster,
that's the simple thing to say.
But the smoke monster from Lost died.
Unless she hadn't fully transformed.
You stab a gnarly looking vape cloud.
Yeah, bro. Like,
bro. She should have. If she'd only just said she was trying to get rid of Osha's one Horcrux, everything would have been fine.
Yeah. The smoke is an illusion. I don't know. I think you're instilling some hope in me, CZ, because if that would definitely make sense. That if they're twins, and again, Torben did express that they're symbiotes, like they're the same, even though they're twins, and there's a high midichlorian count in both. They're symbiotes.
Torben was like, I'm going to sleep. I ain't going on no more missions. Fuck
like it definitely makes sense to really think that, but here's the thing: will that shit be explained though? Like will we see? Will that make? Now we know. Okay, so we know that right now, Soul is on his way to that planet. He's trying to basically find, Chimera and OSHA. We know that. Now it makes sense. What 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 you laughing at, Benny?
All I could think about was Galactus with the Green Lantern movie.
Bro, like this, it makes sense. Like I keep going back to episode 5 when Chimera looked at OSHA and laughed, and he was like, "Yo, this is your master," like as if to say, "You don't really know what the fuck he did to your mom." You know what I mean? Like you have no idea what this man really did, and the only other person that really knows right now is, unless for some particular reason, because they are symbiotes, when Soul tells May, because they're linked, that OSHA hears it through the Force or feels it through the Force. That's the only other way they can explain it, unless Chimera gives her his own interpretation. That's the only thing I can actually think of. But episode 8 has a lot to make up for. It's carrying a lot is riding on this episode 8. And I'm not saying that they're going to completely pull it off, but I at least hope they answer something. I really do.
I'm still trying to find out how dropping like a little bit of fire blew up that whole fucking mountain in the first place. Everything's made out of steel.
So they go ahead, CC.
There's a theory about that.
You're probably on the same page. Go ahead, bro.
So that Indira, if that's how you say it correctly, because it seemed like she did like fuck all toward the end. Like she was just in the ship for the longest time. That she might have sabotaged the dam because it didn't make sense that small fire caused that much damage.
I would have liked to see in this episode them show like that's what I expected from this episode. Like if you want us to believe that the Jedi were so bad that there was a reason for a 16-year Kill Bill story, that they did some fucked up shit like killed everybody and then blew the place up to hide the fucking evidence. But we seen kind of like nothing that was really horrible on their end, just like unfortunate on the Jedi side of it. So if they would have showed a Darb like, I accidentally mind melted all these witches. I'm not trying to do paperwork. let me plant some bombs and let's get the fuck out of here. Let's sprinkle some crack and wrap this up, Johnson.
There was one theory that when, because May did set the fucking fire, like we know that, so she did set that fire, but there was one theory that when she set the fire, that fire somehow spread to the core, like to basically the core that was holding everything together in that, I guess, the core of that place, and it caused an explosion, or it caused like a meltdown of everything else. That was, and I'm like, that's a reach if it was in one space, but it did spread. But how would that, and then this her trying to stomp out the fire after it already, you know what I mean? That shit again, bro, like there's just, look,
maybe witch smoke monsters are flammable. I don't know.
I don't know. And that's what I want to really find out, because everything thus far would make for the motivation of May being the evil one based on everything that she did. So if we're going to make this complete 180 and say that May was really the tortured one or the tormented one, and that OSHA is evil, I just need to find that motivation. When we know OSHA is driven by emotions, and she's giving into her emotions, so we know that aspect of it. But I just need, all right, question. Let me just get off that shit. They're said that there's 2 Siths in this show, 2 Sith Lords in this show.
Balloons. Why were there balloons?
It's a party.
When you do the P, it does that. When you do a peace sign, fucking balloons come
Is
up.
that what that is, please?
If you got that Apple, yeah, it just does that.
No,
No,
my
no.
Windows don't give a fuck.
If I do that, then I get the confetti.
What the fuck?
You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
What
If
do
you
you
do
do?
that, you get the fireworks. If you do that, you get the devil. You get the whole whatever. Yeah. So yeah, you get everything on this thing.
Yeah, something new every day. But
I was using the force. You see, I was using the force effects. But
those players.
do you think that we're going to find out who the other Sith is in the next episode?
Didn't they say that the finale will actually leave us wanting a season 2?
Yeah, they did say that.
So,
and they said that we're also not going to find everything that we need to know out. We're not going to find out everything that we need to know about.
right?
Chimera.
But I think something like that, though. I mean, even if it's not Chimera, but even if it's something like that, dude, I think that'd be enough of a cliffhanger to actually warrant that whole wanting a season 2. I hope so, but I'm doubtful, to be honest. I really want to see who's actually behind this. I mean, because people are talking. What's his name? Damn it! Why did I blank on his name? Freaking Places Master.
Tenebris.
Tenebris.
Yeah.
I was thinking Troubadour for some reason. Like, no, it's not fucking
Troubadour. Yeah. Well, see, people were basically saying that Darth Tenebris is his master, and they were basically saying that it might be a possibility that he might be venomous. And I'm like, well, he can't be Darth Venomous because, well, again, unless they change Legends and they make him, they don't make him a bit. You know,
Legends, dude.
They could definitely do it. So I don't know. There might be a high possibility that they do it, but I'm just wondering. They're saying that it's an open type of situation where we may not find out everything. But my thing is, but she says she wanted to have it much of a satisfying conclusion where it could conclude. I don't know. I think, wait a minute, Hunter said, I think the other mom is the master. See, that's also another theory that they think that Mother Coral is the other Sith.
I don't see it.
Does anybody really care? The silence of the panel just kind of says it all right now, man. I mean, after this episode.
No, I think there's a reason we didn't see her die. So, like, I do think she's alive. I just question
when we say the other Sith, you mean like Chimera's master?
They're basically saying that there might be a possibility that Mother Coral could be
they look kind of like the same age. I don't know that would even make sense either. I personally, I want more time with Chimera. I don't care who his master is. Not in the finale anyway. Like if they do another season, cool. But I want to see more time with whatever he's got going on, and I want to see him fighting Saul and some kind of at least partial resolution with May and Osha. Like I don't want to have to add like a whole nother character into what they already have to try to wrap up in season, episode 8. Like I'm not really concerned with who his master is. Like we just found May's master. Now we've got to add like there's too many things going on, and they haven't done a good job of explaining like what they already have set up. So I don't need another thing to be added to the mix of things that they need to explain when this is how they're going about explaining shit. So I'd rather just see a cool action finale because that's what they are doing well.
Yeah, it's not going to be Vanestra Rowe. I think Vanestra was basically, or it might have been his master, his Jedi master at that time when he was a Padawan, and maybe something went wrong, or maybe at that time Chimera went on this vengeful rage and she had to stop him, being that he was her Padawan. Again, because it's always like Obi-Wan theory. from a certain point of view. We're hearing Chimere's story from a certain point of view, but we may not know the full truth. Again, you know what I mean? Because even when she asked about was that from your Jedi Master, he didn't really specify, didn't say anything at that point. You know what I mean? We're just left to assume. So I don't think it's Venestra, but I think she had an involvement with something, because that cut scene from his back to her whenever, I don't know. We have to see it, and I guess we can draw conclusions from there. But there's only one fucking episode left, man. And
How do you feel?
yeah, there's let me ask y'all a question. I wanted to ask this earlier, and then we're going to kind of, try to wrap up here in a minute. But do you think the quote unquote, actually, do you think the divisiveness of this show could potentially bleed into, other shows, such as, we know that the Skeleton Crew is coming up soon as well, after, I think November or something like that. You think that because of the divisiveness with this one may affect that show as well? Which I'm hoping it doesn't.
Well, what would be divisive about that? Isn't Jude Law's a dude? Is there other female leads in that show that would get that kind of negative attention?
Bro, Star Wars fans find a way.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't think it would affect. The only
thing is, like,
I don't think it would affect Skeleton Crew because that's a. I don't think it would affect Skeleton Crew because that's going to be a white male lead. So no, but as far as in general, no, they took the backlash to Rey and doubled down on it and was like, y'all spent all these years bitching about Rey being a Mary Sue, so after how many years we've been just waiting to come up with something else that y'all might like. Actually, what we're going to do is fuck you, we'll give you more Rey. And that is them sticking to their guns of what they want to do, what they are creatively interested in. Now, you and I are cool with another Rey film. I want to see many things, not just a Rey film, but I'm not sitting there going like, I always felt like Kylo and Rey were like great new characters. Probably hurt the most by the fact that we wanted to see more of the OG characters and a better handling of them in 8 and 9. And I felt like if we had got that, nobody would have as much to say about Rey. But they took the criticism from the fans about Rey and decided after all these years, the first film that they're going to put back in theaters is another Rey film. That is not caring about the criticisms that they get. Like it or love it, that is them saying that we don't care what y'all want. We want to do what we want to do. And I think when it comes to this, they're going to be like, hey, we thought this show was dope. We're probably going to do another season. We're not listening to, like I said, they're lumping in all the constructive criticism and toxic criticism and putting it all in a fuck you drawer and just saying, we know best. We'll tell you what's for dinner. We're not going to McDonald's. We'll tell you what's for dinner. You'll like what we put in front of your plate. That I feel like, so I don't think it's going to hurt as much as we think it might, because all of their PR, all of their media responses to everything has been, they're just racist anyway, they're sexist anyways. We're gonna, if you don't like it, that's why. So I don't think that they're gonna shy away from doing more diversive stuff, and that's that's a good thing, because I don't want them to not ever do any more female lead shows or black led shows. I hope they do more black led shows. I hope that this. I just want them to have the same energy when it comes to black men too.
Yeah.
You have no.
Yep.
You got Reva's back.
What the fuck they did with Finn pissed me the fuck off.
You got Reva's back all day. Have Finn's back. Give him his movie too. Give him his movie too. They fucked him over. The way they set that up, that was unforgivable to me, bro. All about diversity for females. Great. Be diversity for Black Men too. Give Finn his fucking like,
Give him
make
his
it
just
right.
due. You waited to the last fucking film to show us or to tell us that he's fucking force sensitive, man.
Yeah. Make that shit right. Like that's what bugs me.
And
Because a lot of the shit that's going on that
we just see him scream Ray the entire time, man.
Yep.
What the fuck?
Yep. I mean, you have that same energy for uplifting LGBTQ and uplifting women to Black Men too.
Bro,
That's
there's a was it a TikTok? I gotta find it, but there's a TikTok video where this guy said he fixed all the sequel films with Finn. So the entire time that you actually see him scream Ray,
yeah,
they gave him a Wookiee voice. Every time he screams Ray, they cut it with like a Chewbacca Wookiee voice, bro. I was like, yo, that's fucking crazy, like insane. But yeah, bro, like I don't know. Islamic's funny. I don't know. I listen, at this particular point, I want them. I would hope, because I don't want to say what I want, because I don't want to. I want them to. We always want people to have their vision, and the thing is, I don't want to be this. I hate being that entitled individual. I don't think that there should be a level of entitlement. I want you to basically explore your vision, but I think that if I could give my advice, you have to do it in a way where it's tasteful and you're not alienating anybody. Everybody has to feel like there's a level of inclusion. And don't do things that are deliberate. Don't be deliberate about it. Again, fucking, George Lucas wasn't deliberate when we got Lando. He wasn't deliberate when we, started seeing these other characters like Mace Windu and all. It was just simply what it was. There was diversity in those films. We saw that. Fucking aliens, for God's sake.
you
know what I mean?
Lucas come out and pat himself on the back for casting Samuel Jackson or Billy D. Williams. Like, that wasn't part of the promotion. That wasn't part of
he just did it because he wanted to do it. And on top of that, it made sense to the narrative, and he made them all look smooth as fuck and dope. That's it. He gave us an incredibly powerful, and strong female in Leia. It wasn't deliberate. It's just what it was. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think that any of these things, just don't create, as much as I basically support, and I'm the biggest supporter of inclusion, bro. One of the biggest. But at the same time, don't do it in a way that you paint a target on motherfuckers' backs, bro. Don't do that. Don't paint a target on backs of motherfuckers that are already going through shit. Don't do that. Do it in a way that it makes sense to the narrative and the story. It's always, we say this, it's always what serves the story. Not what serves the characters or these actors. It's what serves the fucking story. The actors are there to do a job. That's what it's all about. A director directs, a writer writes, an actor acts, and they do that to serve a story, because the story always comes first. When the story has to take backseat to ego, you fail all the time, bro. Plain and simple, you do.
Yeah, let the fans champion the diversity. You don't need to push that, because then it seems like that was your point, not talent.
That's real. Any thoughts, Dark Profi?
No.
No, I just want to say,
I don't think there's much I can add. I can't add much to this, man, without sounding, a little indifferent. I just think, to be honest, I think everything's still problematic from the top, and until all that stuff changes, then I can probably have a little bit more hope, for the future of the franchise. When you were talking earlier about how if this will affect the Skeleton Crew, I think since the Book of Boba Fett, ever since then, every show's been affected by some sort of negativity or the other, just because of the expectations that we had as Star Wars fans, And I think the way that these shows were actually executed, written and everything, wasn't really, up to our standards. I guess as a Star Wars community. I mean, not just those who are insanely toxic, but even us that are really, that are really diehard for the franchise. That have all the love for it and really want to see, all of this. We want to see everything thrive. But the thing is that I think some of us are also feeling that we're so skewed from George's original vision that we don't even recognize what's on the screen anymore.
Yeah,
it doesn't really feel like the same. You know what I mean? I mean, we even said that. We even said that during the prequel trilogy when that came out. I remember that too. It didn't feel like Star Wars. There was enough there to make it feel like Star Wars, but I mean,
you were so connected to what George's vision was at the time.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
That you could, and that's the thing is like what I try to do, and this is what I do with these shows. I always say that George had his run. He had his place. He delivered what he delivered. And when he sold it off, even when he had the films, when he put it out there, it was no longer his. It was everybody's at that point.
Yep.
It was the fans. So when he sold this off to Disney, he sold off, that it was no longer his anymore. And then when Disney are putting out these films, and I think that's the point. It's George Lucas always set with the mantra that once I create it, it no longer belongs to me. It's the fans. It's the fans and it's their interpretation. I think honestly, and as much as I've supported and I've been supporting these movies and these shows, and I try to find the good out of all of them. My biggest thing is I think it's the backwards approach where you're not serving, you're putting this out there and giving it to the fans, and you're not letting it go. You're putting it out there to the fans and then telling them you're gonna, like Vinny said, you're gonna like it, whether you like it or not. You're gonna take it, and then getting upset when there's criticism. I mean, Lucas received criticism as well. We know he did, but he also accepted it. He was okay with it and said, "Okay, cool."
We drove him into a corner, man. He didn't want to come out and make any more movies because
he didn't want to make any more fucking movies.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, though, and that's my other point: is the simple fact that I'm not going to say it's all their fault either, bro. It is the criticisms that we all have, like you said. It's because sometimes we don't want to let go of the past and kill it. We want to stay in that space, expecting everything to follow suit, and it's not going to be that way. It's a new day. It's a new age. And there's so many stories within the Star Wars realm to be told. And that's the problem, is that people want something different. But then when they get something that's different, they don't like it and they want to go back to what was done before. So you got to kind of make up your mind and really accept what's being done. Now, you don't have to accept the simple fact that you're committed to a vision. You're committed to somebody else's vision and it doesn't meet your expectations. It doesn't have to always. But you can't just always cry and say, I want. It's like when you hear people say, no, fuck that, man. I want George Lucas to buy it back and I want him to do. Well, you didn't like it when he gave you the fucking prequels.
Exactly. I think that's what everybody forgets. We want. I think a lot of people are going to want the original trilogy back, which is never going to happen. No. That whole style, everything that you remember about the original trilogy will never happen again. That's lightning in the bottle. That's come and gone. That'll never, so even if you brought George back expecting that, y'all forget everything, all the heat that he took for the prequels, from episode 1. When that came out, that episode 1 was so hyped. Everyone was so hyped for it, bro. And when a lot of people got out of there, everyone was like, what the hell did we just watch? But everybody was also, again, talking about the long-lasting impression of the end fight scene with Darth Maul, the Jedi. That's what everybody went to go see. They sat through the first couple hours of the movie just to see that. I did that like a few times myself. But even still, even as Attack of the Clones progressed, what happened then? Everyone was bitching about that as well. George, he's completely lost everything. He shouldn't be making movies and blah blah blah. And what happened? Yeah. We pushed him away. Him away, and now we want him back. But everybody forgets what happens last time. So it's
grass is always greener,
right? Perhaps midichlorians aren't that bad anymore, are they?
Right? That's what I'm saying. Midichlorians isn't a bad thing.
Hey, I'll take Ewoks over Basil.
Right?
All I know is if this episode don't end with CC going, I found it, I'm gonna be really disappointed.
Ghetto Yoda said, "I still don't like Attack of the Clones."
You know what? I've always liked it. I've always. I mean, I understand.
Trash.
Here's the thing.
I understand the criticism, man, but I've always liked it, man.
Hold up, bro.
She had to come back for that, huh?
I know.
We talked about clones.
She came in hot. That Darth Vader print can't wait.
Yo, she was like, yo, hold on. Hold up. She was like, Attack of the Clones was trash.
Oh shit, we'll try that next time.
Yo. I appreciate it because it was the first time that I got a chance to see so many Jedis ignite their saber at once in that arena. That shit was dope as fuck to me. That whole Genosian region arena scene was crazy. I love that aspect of it, man.
We got to see the clones, man.
The
clones are my jam. We saw the birth of them, man. The spawning of the
clones. You got a chance to see the clones.
Slave 1 and the bomb.
Bro. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
There was so many beautiful aspects of that film. Even seeing Yoda use a lightsaber for the first time, I don't give a fuck what nobody said. That shit was fucking amazing to see.
Iron Star Killer, the birth of the purple lightsaber. Yep.
Yeah, bro.
We saw the BMF.
We saw the bad motherfucker, bro. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it was so many aspects of that film. Django fighting Obi-Wan, the asteroid field. Come on, that was dope.
Yeah.
That was fucking dope. So there were so many aspects of Cece. You said it was trash. Why didn't you like it?
She doesn't like the sounds of the seismic charges. That's why, which everybody loves, by the way.
The writing with Anakin and Padme was fucking horrible.
Yeah, I don't know. I think like Padme's outfits had some redeeming qualities, but I'd say that about any of them, any of the prequels. I don't know if it's because I don't like the Jedi that I was like, this shit's boring. I just, I don't. It's funny though.
Even after all the political talk in the Phantom Menace, that was Attack of the Clones was worse for you.
Well, yeah, I think
talking about treaties and. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know if it's like there's no skin in the game. I didn't give a shit who won the battle. Because it was like these droids versus like not droids, and then the Jedi are involved. It was just, I remember as a kid just not liking it. But like my favorite scene was the Geonosis like battle because I love the creatures. And actually, there's an artist, Kevin Wilson. He did a trilogy set of smaller prints, and he did one for Phantom Menace, one for Attack of the Clones, and one for Revenge of the Sith. And he was nice enough to show me them on his phone because they hadn't released yet when I first saw them. This was like back in June or something. Yeah, June. And I gasped when he showed me the Attack of the Clones one because I did not expect to like it. But it was the Geonosis scene with all those crazy little creatures. But yeah, no, otherwise, it's not good, dude. It's just not. Like if I have to like rewatch one of the prequels, I'd choose Phantom Menace over Attack of the Clones.
I would too.
It's just no. I don't know if like I found Anakin like super fucking annoying, and Obi-Wan's hair is not even that nice in that one. I don't know.
Judging the movie by the man's hair.
The plot wasn't great in that one.
Can't, bro. I can't. Cece, you need a Snickers. She's mad because she can't find that Vader.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yo, don't ask Cece for shit. She is not like.
No, she had it.
She is no good. Till she finds that print, it's no good.
He said, "Bro, Cece plays the light and dark side. I like it."
Pedro, it's Obi-Wan's fault.
What did everybody think about the lap song during the credits?
Dude, that was fucking weird.
You're talking about
I tuned out.
I didn't know about it. I was kind of bored with the episode. As soon as the credits hit, I was like, all right, cool. and then I shut it off. And then I seen on Twitter today there was a lot of people talking about the music at the end, and I was like, huh? And I played the clip, and I was like, what?
Yeah,
That was a choice.
It was a choice that I don't think really matched. It didn't match at all, and I think that was a creative choice by Leslie Headlam and whoever else. It was a creative choice, but I don't think that. Nah, it didn't. Because here's the thing, this is going to sound weird. It's going to sound weird, and I'll exclude the prequels, and I'll even exclude somewhat. I'll exclude the sequels up until Rise of Skywalker, because Rise of Skywalker committed that too, bro. Like, dialogue for me is important, and it has to feel like a space opera, bro. Tell me something, right? In the original trilogy, in the prequels, did we hear any? And this is going to probably be a small little nitpick, and probably people are going to go, really? Did we hear anybody curse?
I don't think so.
So what?
That's
from
why
when to where?
they invented
Did you hear any?
Except for Nerf herder.
Dang Ferrick.
Dang Ferrick. But
Nerf herder.
So when did all of that translate into, again, The Last Jedi? Okay, so this hear me out, right? Dialogue is fucking important to me, and I hate it. I don't know why it pissed me off so bad, but I hate it when what's his name? In The Last Jedi. No, actually, no. It wasn't even The Last Jedi. It was Revenge of the. It was Rise. Last Jedi. It was. It was fucking. What's his name? Not Finn, but Poe. When he said "big ass door," bro, I hated that because I'm like, yo, where? I'm telling. It's a small nip, but I fucking hated that because again, it's like. My point is you're modernizing something that is supposed to feel, and I think it might just be it wasn't as grainy enough. I don't know what it was, but just the dialogue is what threw me off. The dialogue took me away from it because Poe was saying some stupid shit. Even the fucking joke about your mother. I was like, come on, man, bro. Like literally,
yeah, that was what
wrote that shit, bro. It didn't much. It didn't. And here's the thing. Wasn't it like the castings, like Lawrence, like the casting? Didn't he write it? He co-wrote that shit. So I'm like, yo, why was that allowed? Like the dialogue really took me out because I was like, yo, nah, get the fuck out of here, bro. No, they wouldn't say. I'm used to like their own terminology, and that's the only thing in it. And because I bring that back to this show and that song, they modernized it and made it really, really too modern. And if we're looking at the time frame. This shit happened well before the prequels, well before the OT, and it's like it felt brand fucking new. Does that am I making any sense?
Yeah.
Does hell or damn count in the original trilogy for you? Because they dropped that a couple of times. Obi-Wan, where he told Luke you might. He said your uncle thought he might follow me on some damn full of idealistic crusade.
Okay, so all right, okay. Well,
or when they're in the hallway trying to escape from stormtroopers, Leia blasts open the door. Han, what the hell are you doing? Someone's got to save our skin. Pew pew pew.
And I'll see you in hell.
Well,
there you go. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. I guess I can understand that, but. I don't know what the difference was and why I felt the way I felt about how Poe used that shit in these films. I don't know why I felt indifferent about it because you know what it was? I tell you what it was. It felt fucking forced.
Yep.
It felt like it was forced delivery, bro, to me. It did. It felt real forced and it felt out of place at times. Like they were trying too hard to accomplish something or to give us that same feel and that connection, and it just wasn't there. Maybe that's what it was. That's just me. And this song, at the end of this fucking show sucked. I didn't like it, bro. I did not like, and I will say that I did not like when they implemented that song. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, what are you doing? And I don't want to be nitpicky because, like I said, I've been riding with this show from day one. But this last episode and that damn song, I was like, yeah, come on, bro. Nah.
They were trolling with that song, bro. They were trolling.
It didn't fit the mood after like.
And he did. He did. Soul did say shit, and he didn't complete it. He did in this episode.
They were trolling. They figured, oh, there's some
Man.
black girls in this. Let's add some rap music at the end. I don't know. It just is
Was
some.
that rap? Jesus.
I don't. It felt like it was trying to be.
It felt very poppy, and that's why I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Felt like a pop song, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like that doesn't fit the vibe.
I don't know. It just
So much of Star Wars doesn't even have lyrics. Like most of Star Wars music is like. I remember being blown away by Solo because there was.
I'm saying, bro, I'm sorry, man, but I can't help it, bro. That was I told you it was a nitpick. Yeah, I'm sorry, bro. This song didn't feel. It just again like you can give it a pass, but this song was a reach. It was a stretch, and that's what I'm saying. Like, don't give people a reason to fucking attack your show, bro. Don't. Do what you want to do, but don't give people a reason to dogpile on your ideas, bro. That's all I'm saying. Like, there's certain things that they're doing. And again, we look, episode 8, I'm hoping that it kind of ties this up a little bit more than what we were expecting with this episode. That's all I'm going to say. Because I don't think episode 7 accomplished anything that was set up in episode 3, in my opinion. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway. Anybody else have any last thoughts before we wrap up? Because it's late and I know everybody needs to get some sleep. Anybody got any last thoughts?
Attack of the Clones was not trash.
Yeah.
It was trash.
Guys, the show wasn't so bad. Would we be having this much fun? Be an Optimus Prime, not a Negatron.
Oh, wow.
I like that, bro. I like that. Anyway, let's see. We'll see how it goes. Episode 8, we will be talking about this next week. Let's just prepare ourselves. And again, I'm just hoping that it goes in the direction because I was hype as fuck for this episode. I was ready to find out some shit. I was like, yo, we're gonna find out everything we fucking need to. Let's go. And then at the end of it, I was like, man, I felt, bro, yo, Vinny, you know, I felt like Jason.
You felt like Jason.
I felt like Jason. I felt just like Jason.
Yo, all I could see at the end of the episode was I knew you probably wasn't gonna fuck with it, and all I could see was Jason going like this.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yep. Because bro, after the episode, I ain't put up a single post. I waited for the day. I waited for today.
I didn't see anyone talking about it.
No.
It would have had to been really fucking bad because no one had the energy to talk shit about it.
No.
Yeah. That is worse than the only thing worse than bad press is no press.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
That's definitely where it was. Anyway, hopefully next week, you know, what's up, Mr. Musashi, bro? Thank you for being here, bro. Anyway, what do you say? I think they wrote shit because the script after seeing a possessed Wookiee would make sense. But if it didn't fit the tone of Star Wars, they should have used Carabas. Yeah, should have. Definitely they should have. Anyway, thank you guys for being here. Another good episode, man. We will be back next week for the final or the finale, you know, just to talk about that and see where, you know, and then just tie it up and how we felt about the season, of course. Darth Profi, man, what you got going on, bro?
I'm gonna go shower, go take a nap, or go to bed. That's what I'm gonna do. Now I got LWO tomorrow night on P-Rock's channel. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Expect to be back with Mafia on Saturday. I haven't been there in a minute.
Yeah.
And I'll be back again on Monday nights, hopefully pretty soon. Bring back Profi Chat. So yeah, man. Interesting discussions tonight, y'all.
Yeah.
Good stream. Good stream.
Yeah, definitely a good stream, man. And again, for all the motherfuckers out there that don't think we're critical on this shit, we are critical. We do have a space where we can be critical about this shit. We're gonna be honest, and we were honest tonight. I knew that when Cece was like, she turned it off. It's like, yeah, it was shit. Okay, so Vinny, what you got going on? Yo, she needs nigga. She ain't find that Vader. You know she's pissed. Vinny, what you got going on, bro?
I'm going over to CC's house up for finding Darth Vader print, so she don't kill nobody.
Yeah.
It's like
Murderous
she is not sleeping tonight.
Nah.
I am going to catch up on some reading, catch up on some shows, working around the house. I got some art projects to wrap up because I have a con next month, and I have a huge job on Monday, so I'll be resting up this weekend for that one. Otherwise, Monday night, Comic Book Talk with Friends, we'll be getting into whatever shenanigans we got coming for that date, and then we'll be back here next week for the grand finale of Acolyte. The good thing about, I think, how most of us feel about the show is that there is, plenty of room for criticism with decisions like we've seen in this previous episode, but obviously enough stuff that we like that keeps us coming back for more to see what's going to happen next. And I am looking forward to hopefully a more cohesive action-driven episode next week that gives us some resolution, some great fights, and we'll see what they got up their sleeves. So hopefully more Khmer. Like I'm in on Khmer. I want to see more from him.
I don't need a longer episode also.
Yeah, man.
They
like,
said it's supposed to be like a 45 or 40-something minute episode.
Good.
1 hour.
Yeah, like hopefully they finish strong. So I'm hyped for that.
Yeah, let's go, man. Hopefully they do. CC, I got a strange feeling. Yo, how much y'all bet tonight CC's gonna put in the chat? I found it.
That's bro.
She gonna be like, I found it. Why?
Yep. Yo, it's gonna be 2 a.m.
I found it.
I have two options for where it might be. My office at work or the Munich.
You got prints at work?
I do have prints at work. Yeah. So I'm wondering if I took it into work and showed someone and then just didn't bring it home, like forgot to take it home, or I left it in the Munich airport. But that slow pan was because Ghetto Yoda was like, "Hey, do you display the prints you collect?" Yes. Yeah.
There you go.
They're on the walls. Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Until I fucking lose them, in which case, I display the ones I collect, hopefully, and then the ones that I can't fit on the walls go in portfolios. Or if I lose one, which has never happened before, knock on wood. So we'll see. But no, you're not going to get a message from me at 2:00 in the morning. I don't think. But fuck yeah, we'll see.
Unless you go to work and be like, I found it.
In this country, like I brought it here, and I might even show it to you guys. Anyway, we'll talk later. Anything going on? I think Saturday we're gonna try to do. I say we. I'm gonna be working, but I think over at Rogue 16 we're gonna try to do a like collectibles chat with our friends from across the pond. But other than that, no. Like there's a Star Wars print coming up close to San Diego Comic-Con, if not releasing during San Diego Comic-Con, that I'm excited for. But other than that, it's kind of been like a slow news cycle for Star Wars prints.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, as always, thank you for being here each and every week. Make sure Rogue 16 you actually tune in. CC3PO on Instagram, Darth Profi, El Profesoro on YouTube and Instagram. Make sure you actually head on over there. And Vincent Dunn Art on his Instagram page, where you can actually find the link to his store. So definitely you want to actually get over there and do that. What else is going on? Tomorrow is Figure Flex Friday, continuation of Summer Madness. So and keep in mind, it's not just about Figure Flex, it's also Art Flex now. So make sure you get your artist flexes in there as well. So we have that tomorrow. Collectors Lounge International on Sunday, Comic Book Talk with Friends on Monday, and the full rotation Say What Wednesday, Civilized Scoundrels, which again, to be the last episode of the season, will be that. And yeah, we got a lot going on. Other than that, yeah, that's it, man. I hope everybody had a good time tonight. Nice discussion all around. And I didn't, you know what, the dopest part about it is there was no, even like in the chat, like everybody was talking like peacefully, calmly. Everybody was also talking about certain things. That was dope. I love that because y'all even kind of helped us understand that as well. So shout out to everybody out in the chat. Y'all motherfuckers are dope. Love that. You know what I mean? Even giving us
such a toxic community.
Exactly, right? It wasn't this. There's no toxic community.
Yeah, no one hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans. Sometimes it's bullshit. Sometimes Star Wars fans are awful.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? We all right, even though we may not like certain things, and we still try to give it a pass to talk about it, stuff like that. Cece was just hungry tonight. You know what I mean? Nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Anyway, thank you guys for being here. Another great show, man. Until next week, as always, keep in mind, just stay uncivilized, man. Just keep it rocking. Now we time for the outro music. This is the dopest part. Beginning and the end. Because we hear this shit, we start bopping. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go.
So uncivilized.